Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 8, episode 4, and today we continue a surprise chase for the playoffs as we face bottom side Leeds United, looking to get another win on the board. We're in the middle of the January transfer window. To be honest, it's quite a quiet one, which makes a nice change. We're not having to worry about signing players as we're doing quite well, and we're not really having to worry about selling the big names because we're still making a decent amount of money. We've lost a little bit this year because we're paying back the loan for the stadium that's being built as we speak, but hopefully we won't have to sell any big names in January and we can leave it until the summer. The only one that's possibly going to be going is David Crawford or Marco, who's going off to the MLS. Marco's not so bad because he's actually a backup player, and obviously if we have to lose Crawford, it's a position we've got a decent sub in. But let's go and look at the schedule since you were last here. Plenty of games yet again. You can see we'd got up to 7th in the league, and that's because we've had a decent run, but over Christmas that's about all you need to do in this league. So many teams dropping points. It's a really competitive league. It's not called the most competitive league in the world for nothing, and as a result we've managed to stay right up in the chase. So you're with me for the Huddersfield game at the start of November. A narrow defeat but a good fighting performance. We did beat Cardiff in the first game after the international break. McGeever, the youngster, getting another goal after a brace from Bobby Duncan. And then we won 5-3 at home to Forest. An absolutely crazy game. Again McGeever getting the last. Bobby Duncan was on the score sheet yet again. And then a brace from Armando Broja and a Reece Williams header. We won 2-1 away to Swansea. Broja got the brace in that one after we came back from 1-0 down. We drew 1-1 at home to Colchester, an own goal in that one, and Caelan Hines, a former Arsenal youngster who used to be a superstar on this game a few years back. We lost 1-0 away at Preston as our poor run there started to continue. Elliot Watt got a goal early in the second half, but we were able to bounce back with back-to-back wins. Firstly at home to Stoke, Mapley and Duncan with those, and then an emphatic 5-1 win at Reading on Boxing Day. Broja with a hat-trick, Bobby Duncan and James Baldock got the goals. Probably our best performance of the season. We did lose 2-0 at home to high-flying Charlton though, another side like us that run on lower budgets, but they're flying up the league and doing really well. They didn't need to rely on 2 goals from their fullback this time, despite his finishing and long shots of 1. It was a fair and square defeat, with Lee Meaney and Obita getting the goals for them. We then lost in the FA Cup 2-0 at Cardiff. We rested a lot of players for this. Just as we said before, we can't focus on the cups with such a small squad. I'd absolutely love to because I love the FA Cup and League Cup and would like to get some domestic trophies on the board, but obviously we're a bit early in our development for that at this stage. We did get back to winning ways last time out though, 2-1 at home to Northampton. Both of the front two doing the business in that one, Duncan and Broja getting a goal apiece. However, we did lose Nico Williams due to injury, and unfortunately for the right wing back it's quite a bad one, so we'll have to displace him today, which is such a shame as he was finally starting to reach his potential. He's had a really good season, but the positive side of that is young Richard Quirk's going to get 2 months of football. He's the other right wing back at the moment. We've contemplated bringing one of the others back just to have another option, but we'll make a decision on that after we've seen this game. Whether Quirk's up to it or not, I don't know. He's not really had many starts so far. There's just one bit of transfer news to tell you about. It's quite an important one for us. A player we were trying to get out because they weren't playing football. James Devine, the youngster's gone to Carlisle. He had options to go to Billericay, who I think are bottom of League 1. Carlisle are right up the top in League 2. And I think he also had the option to join Connor Courts at Cambridge. But he's gone for Carlisle, and I'm sure he's going to do quite well there. He's a decent player and could become a decent League 1 or League 2 pro, even if he doesn't make it for us at Torquay. But let's get into this game against bottom of the table Leeds. We've seemed to struggle against the lower sides this season for some reason, so hopefully away from home today we won't get caught out by Leeds United. Let's look at the lineup and see if we're favourites. Leeds are still favourites remarkably, and they haven't lost in the last 2 games and only have a few injuries now. I saw on the injury table about a month ago they had 5 or 6, so maybe they're just recovering from that. After this game we've got a run of sides in the top half. You can see there our next 2 fixtures are Norwich and West Ham, who are 5th and 9th respectively, so they're going to be crucial in terms of playoffs, but we're not going to be up there at the end of the season. Similar to last year, we fall away, some of the youngsters get a run in, we end up losing a player, and we just have to accept until our stadium's built, that's the way things are going to be. While we're here, let's go and check that's still the case. It is being built, it's still got the same finishing date, and everything stands alright at the moment. So that's the most important thing. Once we've got a new stadium, we can compete with anyone in the Championship. I know it's only a 15,000 seater, but having expansion potential and being able to compete with sides that have traditionally been Championship clubs is a real stepping stone for us and will allow us to bring more revenue into the club, as well as attract players due to the better facilities. Let's look at the lineup then. We've got to take Nico Williams out from the last game. We're going to put Richard Quirk in for him, as we mentioned. And then onto the bench, I'm not sure who. Robson Brown's back from injury, so he'll come in. We'll take out Marco, who's probably going to be off. He's a really decent player, but he's going off to the MLS. We're talking $2.5 million from Kansas City. And if we have a look at him, he's not a $2.5 million player. He's got potential, but is he going to reach it? He's not a good header of the ball. He's got no composure, and he's not the best tackler either. So for a centre-half in the English game, he probably doesn't really suit it. He's done an okay job for us when needed, but he's really not a first choice moving forward, and he's not as good as Williams or Brown, who will hopefully provide our long-term centre-half partnership. But with those changes made, it means our lineup for today is Alex Bass in goal, Robson Brown, James Baldock and Reece Williams are the three centre-halves. Quirk and Lewis are in on the wings. We've mentioned Quirk already. Adam Lewis is still flying high. 7.47 his rating is. Another sensational season. 15 assists in 26 games and 5 goals to add to that as well. A resolute personality, and he's becoming a superstar at this club after nearly leaving a couple of years ago because he couldn't get into the team when we were playing that 4-2-3-1 in League One. We've got Mapley and McDonald in central midfield. David Crawford's in the number 10 role. We'll make the most of him while he's here. And then Broder and Duncan combine up front. They've been on real good goal scoring runs this season and they're continuing to develop well. So hopefully they'll be able to continue that run as we face Leeds United at Ellen Road. We've got the usual assortment on the bench, including the 2 young strikers, and I almost forgot a very important piece of news before we kick off the game. If we go to my screen, my profile, let's see what's changed. We've got a new contract for another 2 years. Our reputation's still flying high. We've got a pay rise to $5,500 a week, up from $3,000 beforehand, and as a result of that, it looks like we're set at Torquay for the next few years. 2028 is the season we should move into our stadium and hopefully get promoted to the Premier League. We said we really wanted to have a go of it in season 10, providing everything went to the plan with the stadium finishing at the end of season 9, and providing all of that's the case, we should be able to have a real crack at it, knowing we've still got a contract. And one thing that's just caught my eye here, ironically, Thomas Tuchel's listed on my best opinion list here, which isn't a problem, but if any of you are following my other save, you'll know we've had a few run-ins with him, so it's just a little bit ironic. At least Darren Ward's gone though. Let's get into the game, see if we can get a result against Leeds. It's one of the games we probably should do, but apparently we're not the favourites. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Leeds. How many times have we said that about our opponents at this level? Let's go and talk to the lads. I just noticed they had Victor Adebayo up front, a brief hero for us at Barnsley in the other series, a few other recognisable names, but we've just encouraged the lads, which at least has motivated Broder if nothing else. Let's get into the kick-off. It's Leeds with the ball. Cantwell gets the ball out to Sakai at right back. They're coming forward early on, but hopefully we won't see any damage from the first highlight. It's quite often the case, and it duly ends with no attack towards our goal. Nearly 20 minutes in, nothing's happened so far, but Leeds have got a free kick. Phillips with the ball out to the right-hand side. He finds Wing. There's 3 in the box for them, stayed up from the set piece, and Adebayo heads it in. That's pretty much how we remember him from Barnsley. Scores goals galore and works really hard leading the line. That puts us 1-0 down to the bottom side in the league, and after 20 minutes we haven't even had an attack. David Crawford puts Broder in though. This could change it. Broder's shot's blocked. Brilliant defending. I'm not sure who it was for Leeds. Number 5. It was a Limwee if nobody else. Not heard of him personally. He might be a regen, but he's been a fantastic defender there. Made a brilliant block on Broder. Brown gets the ball out to Lewis. He delivers towards Broder again. It's headed away to Wing. Cantwell brings it forward to Adebayo on the right. Charging over the halfway line. There's men closing him down, but it's not going to cause anything. And thankfully the highlight ends. It's been really poor so far. We're going to demand more from the lads, because not only are we losing to the bottom side Leeds, we're getting absolutely outplayed too. I'm not sure why they're bottom of the league with the side they've got, but I'm sure they'll be able to rectify that if they play like this. Adebayojo heads the free kick away. Crawford finds Mapley. It's the same man again. Olimbi at the back with a fantastic block, and it's cleared long towards Adebayojo. Barker down the left-hand side. Former City youngster in real life. He gets to the byline. He's fouled by the fullback, and that's going to be a yellow card for Mapley. It's not, nothing given, just a foul. It's an out-swinging corner for Adam Lewis. Just 10 minutes to the break now. Goes back to Crawford and he loses it to Adebayojo. Leeds have been on fire in this game. We've probably not been at our best, but there's no way this side should be at the bottom of the league. Duncan flicks the ball on. Just a long, aimless ball over the top. And unfortunately, we keep seeming to show away defeats on camera. If we could show a home game where we win, that'd probably be a good idea next time out. Remember to shout that at me at the end of the episode. Brown heads the ball away to Mapley. We're coming forward. Can we build a proper attack with some pressure now? It's Lewis on the left hand side, charging at the fullback, delivers to Duncan, heads it, hits the post, and it comes back out into the grateful arms of Smith in goal. That was a more promising attack from us. 5 to the break. It's an out-swinging corner. They've gone back short again. You've got Reece Williams in the box. He's unbeatable in the air. Crawford gets it back though, just over the bar, and Crawford's having a really good game, but doesn't manage to put that one in the back of the net. It's a long ball by the Leeds keeper to Adebayojo. Holds it up and finds Barker. He cuts it back on the left-hand side with the overlapping winger. It's wing out to the right-hand side. Sakai. He crosses it early, finds Barker on the byline, cuts it back for Riley, into the box unopposed, but it's a good defensive block, and it's out for a throw on the Leeds right. They're going to take it. We're straight back with the throw-in. Phillips gets the ball into Wing. Wing switches it to Riley again. Cutting in on that right foot from left back. Has a good shot at goal from the edge, but Bass has to tip it over comfortably. A corner kick for Leeds, and it's going to be taken by Alioski. In towards Wing, but cleared away. Burke gets it in. It's headed away again. It's just pinball in the box there. We don't look composed at all, and there's a few anxious bodies back there, including the young Richard Quirk. Wing gets the ball back to Olimbi, but the highlight ends as Leeds are comfortable, and they're going to go into the break 1-0 ahead. That's half time then. We can have no complaints about this one. Leeds have been dominant and we deserve to be 1-0 down. We're going to tell the lads we're unhappy. No idea why we'd be encouraging them. In fact, we're going to tell them to prove a point, and a few of the lads are motivated by that. There's some frustrated players and some that are anxious, but we just want to get them composed and focused on the job in hand. Richard Quirk, the young right wing back, he's challenged by Riley as he comes forward, and he's out for a throw on the right. Quirk will take it. We're going to see the attacking throw as well. Out to Mapley. Terrible throw in, but we've got a free kick. We're lucky to get away with that one. We're back with Sakai on the right for Leeds. He tries to get it into the box. Lewis blocks. It's back to Wing. Deflects to Alioski. Very good attacking from Leeds. They've got us under all sorts of pressure in the box, and we end up making these poor panic clearances, which compound the pressure for a few more minutes. 10 minutes into the half, though, we're still only one behind, and as long as that's the case, a moment of magic can change everything. The throw's cleared away to McDonald. He finds Mapley. Mapley and McDonald keeping it again. Adam Lewis has had a poor game, which is very rare. Luckily, we've got McCabe on the bench though. Crawford finds McDonald in the middle of the pitch. Crawford again, he's beaten to it by Wing. So sloppy in there, and I don't know who to take off. There's so many 6.3s and 4s there. Reece Williams heads away. Wing hits the bar. The clearance is poor as well, and it falls straight for Alioski, who puts it in. I'm going to start screaming at these lads, and at the end of the game I'm going to be absolutely furious. We've got awful performers all over the pitch, and I don't even know which ones to take off. Lewis into Reece Williams though, just over the bar. That was a real good chance to get back on terms, or get at least one back and cause a bit of trouble. I forgot we'd gone 2-0 down now. I'm really unhappy about that. John McGeever's coming on up front for Bobby Duncan. Rowan McDonald will come off as well. Jordan Stevens on for him. He prefers to be a Mazzala, and I don't know who else to take off. So many poor performers all over the pitch. Broger's been our top scorer. Adam Lewis has provided assists galore, so I don't really want to take either of those off. But I don't think I have a choice. If you play poorly, you should lose your place in the team. So Adam Lewis will come off, and Eamon McCabe, not John Gerrard, will come on in his place on the left. Let's see if we can get back into it. We're going to go attacking, and Richard Quirk gets the ball through to Broger. He's in, but his cross is blocked, and now McCabe can get it on the left channel. He goes back to Stevens. He finds Crawford. Now Broger again. Quirk's over on the right-hand side. Can he get the ball into Broger? Poor goalkeeping, but it's in. Got a hand to it and really should have kept it out. Richard Quirk with the assist, the youngster, and Armando Broger, it was right of us to keep him on, because he's got the first goal back now, as we can really find a path back to a point. You've seen today why I said we can't compete for the playoffs. We're a little bit behind still in terms of consistency. So many youngsters in the team, and they just throw in games like this, like the Palace one we saw on camera, and a couple of others at home to Charlton you saw when we were rounding up the fixtures. We just give away the odd stupid defeat, and as a result we always hang around in 9th, 10th or 11th. Towards the end of the season we will drop away as we start to get injuries like the one to Williams there. We will fall down the league, but as long as we're comfortable, we've got no risk of being relegated, and that's all I can ask with the stadium being built. McGeever on the left though, can we nick a point? Into Broja, heads it wide. I'd expect better from him for that one, but unfortunately he puts it wide at a post. 10 to go, will we get a moment of magic? The likes of Crawford and Broja are still there. Chapman shoots from the edge for Leeds and it's blocked. We were just going to pause it there so we can tell the lads to push forward, but we're going to get back into the action with the ball on the left. Alioski, he's been a superstar for Leeds. Quirk heads away, it falls for a Limby. It would have been just if he'd scored after the two brilliant defensive blocks he made, but it's out for a corner again, and Alioski with an in-swinger this time. He gets it to the front post, Broja nods away, Sakai's going to recycle it on the left-hand side. He finds Riley, the left-back. He gets it back to Elimbi. They're going to build from the back again, are they? On halfway with Robertson. To wing. Out to the right-hand side. Alioski again. Getting close down. He shoots from miles out. Bass looked like he tipped that onto the post. If he did, it was a wonderful save. But Alioski with another moment of magic. He has been a match winner for Leeds today. Chapman shoots from the edge. It's back to Robertson. Leeds still dominating possession and their chances. Despite the fact they're 2-1 up, you'd expect them to be trying to hang on for the result, especially where they are down at the bottom. But they're going all guns blazing, and we've got to respect them for that. 2 minutes to go, and it doesn't look like it's going to be our day. We're into the last 3.5 minutes of 5 added on. It's really done us a favour there from the 4th official, but it doesn't count now. Chapman scored a goal. We'll go back to positive because it's pointless trying to chase it. Our goal difference might be important in deciding a few positions in the middle. It's so tight in the middle of the table. The financial differences and the rewards can change with prize money. Whether you finish 10th or 14th can make a big difference. Quirk gets the ball on the right. The cross is blocked and is cleared away. We will briefly talk about the rest of the transfer window after this game, but we've still got to worry about losing games away from home. Every time we come on camera we lose one. It's getting quite frustrating to watch. Alioski finds Adebayo. He's been brilliant today as well. We win the ball back, but we're going to lose away to the bottom side Leeds. Bulldog goes long over the top. The whistle goes. Leeds had the only clear-cut chance. They were completely deserving winners, and they had many good performers there, which belied their position at the bottom of the Championship. Let's go and talk to the lads. We do not appreciate their efforts. What is Stuart Jelling on about? Let's say we're disappointed. I don't care about needing the win to move into the playoffs, but you've embarrassed yourself by being outplayed by the bottom side. A bit like the Huddersfield one. I'm sure Leeds won't be down there at the end of the season, but something doesn't seem quite right there as they played brilliantly in that one. Broja's 1 goal away from his 10 grand bonus. No complaints, if he can score 20 goals he deserves it. Leeds ease to victory. That's taken me at least 4 attempts to say. Blaw's gone to Maidstone. I'm not quite sure what that's about. Why we're seeing that I don't know. Let's remove him from the shortlist. It might just be because he's from our parent club Liverpool. Maybe we've tried to loan him at some point. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Let's have a look at the table to see where that leaves us, and we'll have a look at the squad in a minute too as we talk through the remaining 2 weeks of the transfer window. So we're still only 2 points off the playoffs. It's a decent season, I guess, but a bit similar to last year. Everywhere down to 17th place Swansea is really in a tight group. So what's that? From Swansea in 17th to 5th place Forest. That's 8 points separating the sides. That's half the league table being separated by 3 wins basically. We've got loads of players in the top scoring charts, but we're still a little bit weak defensively as we haven't got a good player at centre half when we get an injury to one of our 3 players. We've also got weaknesses at fullbacks, especially with Quirk playing for 2 months now, and obviously Adam Lewis is a bit more attack minded on the left, so that's always going to leave us exposed. So just as last year, I expect to fall away a little bit towards the end, but I'm really happy we haven't got to worry about relegation. We're probably just 2 or 3 wins away from guaranteed safety. Leeds, I expect to claw their way out of it, just as Huddersfield have now. Both sides have really stepped up to the plate when they've played against us, and I expect them to be doing far better than they are at the moment. And finally, let's have a quick look at the transfers going through at the moment. We've mentioned Marco, where we've accepted that £2.5 million deal. He could be off to the MLS, where there's so much interest in him. Every window we get 3 or 4 offers, but fortunately this time they've got a little bit more financial weight behind them. That should cancel out the loss we've made so far this season. We've got the usual 50% sell on as well, which is obviously very important. The other ones we keep getting offers for: Richard Quirk, the highest offer, 2.5 this window, a little bit lower than last time. We certainly won't be accepting that for our youth intake star. John McGeever's unhappy because we keep rejecting bids for him, but there's such poor offers, less than what we paid, we're not willing to consider them. If we look at his profile, he is continuing to develop quite well. I'm not quite sure why his star rating isn't going up, because he looks like a player who's doing okay. We've got him working on his finishing and heading, and hopefully he'll develop that in due course. I still have faith in him to become a really good player, but I may have to temper expectations after saying he was going to be the next Owen Jack. His stats look exactly aligned to it. Mentally he's very strong for a youngster, but that lack of height and quality in the air may take away a section of his goals. A good player nonetheless, and he's done alright for us off the bench recently. In terms of ins, there's just one player we're looking at. We have lacked strength on the bench up front, so Nazran Ledger's going to be the man we look for. £1.5 million is a bit of a record signing for us, but Bristol City are struggling, down in League One. He's doing okay for them there. He's played for Billericay at the lower levels and got 1 in 2, and he just looks a really good striker across the board, the sort of player that I'd love to have in my team. So if we can get him, that would be great, but I know it may be out of our financial reach, especially as other clubs are chasing him too. And then let's quickly go and look at the squad. The only other one that may be leaving is David Crawford. He's the man I'm prepared to sell if I have to let one go. If we get an offer for 10 million again, he's someone who I'll definitely let go. He's not setting the Championship alight, and he's not really developing too quickly off the pitch, particularly physically, where he's not the hardest worker. If he goes, we've got Ricky Ash who can come in. He's a solid pro at this level, and he'll develop as he gets more football. So plenty of positives, despite being poor on the pitch today. If we go and look at the schedule, we've mentioned those top sides we're playing next, and then we'll come back for one around the youth intake time, so the start of March or end of February. We'll do that one and then one towards the end of the season, providing we don't get caught into a relegation battle or we don't go all the way up towards a playoff push. If we have something exciting towards the end of the season to play for, we'll obviously show an extra episode or two, but the idea is to get these 2 mid-table seasons out of the way, this one and next year, and then come back for that promotion push in season 10 once we've moved into our new stadium. So we may just show the 2 more episodes from this season, one around the start of March or end of February, and then that last one of the season against Colchester. But obviously, as excitement comes along, if there's more things you need to see, I'll certainly show them on camera. But if you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on the video as always. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of that performance. And are you looking at my squad and thinking I need to do something in January? I may bring back one of the right wing backs who are out on loan. Don't forget we've got Ralston, who was good for us last year, but we couldn't sell permanently during the summer. And we've also got the youngster Connor Courts, who's out on loan at Cambridge, but got League One Player of the Year last year. So we've got 2 options there. I'll probably pick the one who's most likely to increase in value, or the one who's maybe not playing so much on his loan deal. But let me know if there's anything you think I desperately need to do before the end of January. Obviously, we're not going to go all guns blazing and spend loads of money because we're trying to save for this stadium that we're building. We've got a big loan to pay back, and obviously Torquay are paying me an extra £3 a week now, so that's going to make things difficult for them as well. But we have to be realistic. We can only use the players that we've scouted, obviously, and we can only accept the offer Torquay give us. We can't say we're going to take a tenner a week to manage the club just so they've got more money in the bank. That wouldn't be realistic, and as a result, we're not going to do it. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one with Torquay United, and in our other series, The Head Coach, The Journeyman Save, where we work under a director of football with no say in transfers, contract or staffing. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with the series, and we'll see you next time for another episode from the Championship.